If you've ever wanted to see elements of Kubrick, Cronenberg, and Lynch combined with satire on America's obsession with physical perfection, then the film The Substance is a must-see. But if you have a weak stomach, be warned. This ride is going to be a bumpy one.
Welcome to Bedlam Movie Night, the podcast where we dissect, deconstruct, and exhume films from the depths of horror, action, sci-fi, and beyond. I'm Ben Marlowe, joined by John Anderson, and tonight we're peeling back the glistening, grotesque layers of The Substance. It's seductive, it's revolting, and it dares to ask, what happens when you can't shed the skin you sold your soul for? Also, spoiler warning, we will spoil any movie at any time and just deal with it.
Yeah, good point about the spoiler alerts. Also, great alliteration, the glistening grotesqueness. I like
Right.
that. Not bad. Not bad. This movie is not a boring movie, and the tension definitely equals the payoff, delivering one hell of a punch.
So the second time I watched this movie was absolutely agonizing. It was like a marathon.
Yeah, once I realized what was going on, like the train that I was on as an audience member, the more like kind of mentally prepared I had to get, because I was like, oh, I see what they're about to do, and it becomes an endurance contest of like,
The train's a good way to put it.
yeah, like how much can I get put through before I like tap out, or like,
Right.
at this point it's a movie that like I don't think I need to see it again. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's a difficult roller coaster ride to get on.
I don't think I'm ever going to be able to sit through it again.
Yeah, which I think is, is like negative as that statement might seem. It's a credit to the filmmaker.
Yeah,
right?
For horror movies, like, if you make the horror movie where somebody's like, I refuse to sit through it again, that's kind of a success.
That's an accomplishment, absolutely.
And it's not like I didn't want to sit through it because of like the acting and the script. It was just because of how intense and grotesque it was. I mean,
Well, that's kind of how the director's first film was. Coralie Farget is her name. She's a French-born filmmaker.
nice.
The movie she did right before this is called Revenge, and
Yeah.
it's a very stylized
I
revenge
saw
flick.
that like briefly. It's super like neon cover,
Yep.
and I could just see her develop as a director.
Well, yeah, after she directed Revenge, she got offers from different studios to, throw their hat in for her next film. And she turned down several offers because she wanted to retain Final Cut and have as much creative control
I
over
respect
the
that.
project. Yeah,
I respect the
yeah.
shit out of that.
I mean, and it shows, too. I mean, instead of like a violent revenge flick, I mean, this is a violent movie, but she brought it into this whole other like philosophical, psychological drama type of thing.
Yeah, and it was like based in this like horror movie, like context where it's giving nods to where it comes from and everything, but it's obviously leading the way to a whole new charge.
Well, that's actually something that I wanted to point out right up front. The horror elements are like all over the place. Not only does she give several nods to Kubrick, especially with The Shining,
As always,
she
yeah.
gives a nod to Hitchcock with through Psycho references. She nods heavily to David Cronenberg with all of the body horror stuff.
Yeah, serious
And
Cronenberg.
more of a psychological thing, she does a lot of David Lynch nods as well, who in the last few months has passed away. R.I.P. Lynch. But back to Cronenberg, like, I'm really stoked that the body horror genre is kind of getting a little revitalized here with this movie, and we're seeing it pop up in other stuff as well.
Yeah, the body horror thing I've always been like kind of torn on, because I think like as a hardcore horror movie fan, that is like the line. Like, it's kind of like rape scenes and body horror are where I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I can like sit through this.
Right.
And this one, I don't know. I mean, maybe it might be like I've like come to stomach it, but this one didn't come across as like vengeful and grotesque. But this one there's something like missing on like that. This whole movie is body horror. I think it's just like a light sprinkling to it.
Well, I will say that's what I didn't mind all of the references that she made. She did it in a really tasteful way where like I was able to clock the reference, whether it was something she did with the set design or a musical cue or like a special effects moment. I noted it, but was also not thrown off by it. I was like, oh, I see what you're doing, and I'm down for you to like make me make this connection. Like I'm down to go on this ride with you. Like I'm down to see down to see what comes next, you know?
Let's just hope she doesn't go the route of David Eggers and when she gets money, just blow it. But
right,
I have
is she gonna like? Is the next one like? Well, now that I think about it, this this is a fun like alternate universe idea. But like, did you ever watch that movie Death Becomes Her? Right,
dude. This movie reeks of that.
So like the last thing I want is to see her remake that film. Now that
oh my god, exactly. Like so that's why like I'm almost like hating on David Eggers. Imagine if this director started doing that, you know. And
well, like, I know what you mean. Yeah,
she won't. She's better than that.
I hope. Yeah, I hope so.
Way better than that. And I do have to speak on this because we are post Oscars. It's actually incredible that there's a version of the movie that played out in real life. Because Mikey Madison, you know Mikey Madison? She's the girl who won the Oscar for Nora. Mm-hmm. And she was up against Demi Moore for Best Actress.
No way, okay.
Yeah, this past 2025.
Whoa.
And so let me just give you a brief breakdown of how this looks on paper. So Mikey Madison, she got her start in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's where we all discovered her.
Oh, was she one of the Manson girls?
She's the girl with the white face.
Ah,
and I'll give her credit. Her time on screen, she steals it. Like,
right.
Steals it.
Yeah.
Even against our boy who plays Elvis and everything, you know, and is in Dune 2. Whatever his name is. We're not talking about you right now. So Mikey Madison. But so she's only got so I looked it back, 15 credits. And so then we compare it to Demi Moore, 73 movie credits, which are nonetheless of like Indecent Proposal, Ghost, G.I. Jane. Like, and so Honora, it was good, but we're not talking about that movie. But, however, like, literally what happened in this movie, what they're talking about, played out. Like, here's this, like, qualified,
the younger,
genuine actress.
Right, the younger up-and-coming.
And not only that, like, Honora's, like, she plays a stripper, you know? Like, there's also that
and
context.
Demi Moore was in Striptease.
Yeah,
that was one of her
there's
big...
that context. And, like, there was no love given in the Oscars for that. And, you know, there's just, like, a lot of...
Interesting.
And, like, watching Demi Moore do the press tour with Margot, whatever her name is, and just Qualley, and have to, like, play that song and dance, it's kind of...
That's a black belt nerd moment.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. And I swear the more you revisit it and then the Oscars played out, because I watched it the first time before the Oscars, and I'd watch the press tour kind of researching it, and I'd be like, damn, this is kind of fucked up. And then the fucking Oscars played out like that.
That's some movie meta shit right there.
It's crazy. So, like, hats off, because I swear to God, you know, the director, writer, we love her, was just like, you fucking asses, just sitting in the back being like, I fucking told you. She's like watching the story that she created
play out in front of her eyes in real life with the actress.
Yeah, who she used as like a sympathetic figure. Like, I hope her and Demi Moore like had a
talked
good,
about
like,
it.
Yeah, just a shot or a joint on a roof, and we're just like, ain't it fucked?
What the fuck just happened?
Yeah. So that like is fascinating, and you know that's hats off to the director for even calling it so heavily and watching it play out, which is great artistry in display. We'll probably talk about it in like 5 years.
Yeah, it's one of those where the first time around I was like, whoa, that was a cool ride.
Right.
And I am impressed that that's the ride I went on, because it's not what I expected to happen, which is like an element of like a Cronenberg or a Lynch film where you start out at point A and then you get to point Q and then you go back to point E and then you end up at W and then circle back to F before you get to Z. Like, and you just...
And then you just vomit up alphabet spaghetti.
Yeah, and it all makes sense. Like, it's all like, okay, I can understand how we got here, but also, what the fuck? How are we here?
All right. Well, I think we've got our takes on the general gist without diving into any of the juice, because I'm going to wring Dennis Quaid by his neck. But
wait.
Yeah, now Jesus Christ. But yeah, I think it's time for us to jump on into the dungeon, as we say here in Bedlam.
Let's get into the dungeon. Okay, I have just got to say that opening scenes in films are really important, and I have a lot of respect for directors that understand that and use that. Coralie Farge, in this case, really hit that out of the park. Like, she introduces the idea of the substance as like this egg getting injected with this green liquid, which reminds me a hell of a lot of the liquid from Reanimator. I don't know if you ever watched that 80s horror movie. It's like Frankenstein on fucking steroids. That shit is bonkers.
Yeah, direct nod right out the gate. For sure.
Right out of the gate to a classic of like, but to me, whenever I saw it, I was like, oh, I recognize that green liquid. Some crazy shit's about to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know what.
How clean it looks, and like,
Yeah.
you can just tell you're headed into a hyper stylized film.
Something, beyond comprehension almost. So, yeah, that opening moment of like just showing what the substance does, like it duplicates this egg. And then we have this really great like compression of time where we focus on Elizabeth Sparkle's Hollywood star.
It looks so good with the lines, the way it fades in.
Yeah, and we do the whole it's a great way to show the passing of this character's
well, the first
backstory.
5 minutes, we literally have the whole movie. If you just ended it at like egg splitting and then that, you could probably piece everything together.
Yeah, you get the idea. But I just hats off to her creativity to like just
amazing.
She wants to tell this character's backstory, and all she has to do is focus on this star on the sidewalk from it getting put in by the construction workers, people taking pictures around it, people like, oh, I remember her. And then slowly people walking over it being like, oh, I think she was in that thing once. And then some dude spilling his burger on it. And
like some homeless guy walking over.
And it's got like cracks in it and the rain.
What's going on with this movie, though, in general for me, which is I can't quite wrap my head around, is like there's something about that scene that's like almost like low-hanging fruit to me.
Huh.
It's just like, it's almost too obvious.
I don't agree at all.
No, I like, and I'm almost like want to play devil's advocate to myself when I say that, because like, so this is where she's adding to that, like, kind of like telling the whole story in 5-minute trope, is you like enter through this like classic Hollywood way, which she kind of wants you to, and then you enter into the details of thick ketchup, onion, and stuff like that.
Are you hungry? Do you need a burger right now? Is that what?
No, but I did. While I was speaking this, I did come up with a good pun. It's almost as if the path is going to catch up with her. Anyway, you did that, and then we break into the aerobic scene.
Well, yeah, that's like, talk about a throwback. Like, she straight up is portrayed as like this Jane Fonda type character. Like, she goes through the last bits of her like routine where she's doing this aerobics class on television, and then she walks through this hallway. The first of several Kubrick nods is that the floor on the hallway is the exact floor from the moment when Danny in The Shining is playing on the floor and he goes into like room 237.
It's ridiculous.
It's the exact same carpet.
And it's like literally the bathroom, I think they just put the hue filter over and they didn't even scan saturation or
the
lightness.
Exact
they
hallway.
Just went hue and went to orange.
Right back to back, you've got a Kubrick nod.
I actually forgot to take this. Like, it's a Grimm's fairy tale turned into a contemporary fucked up world.
I think, well, here's my response to that. Yes, it is a fairy tale, 100%, but I like what happens when foreign filmmakers try to do a look at American life and American culture. You know, it's the outside looking in. Like if you see how Americans are portrayed in certain Japanese films, for instance. Like anytime you have a foreign filmmaker who tries to make a movie about America, to me, it's always awesome because it's like this, they're exaggerating the points that stick out to them based on their culture and what they see. From where they're from, they're like, oh my God, that's fucking crazy about American culture. But to us, it's just like normal, yeah, that's whatever. But when you see it exaggerated and put on this like crazy stylized display, it becomes a fairy tale because it's exaggerating our reality.
It's like absolutely. I mean, she lives in her little castle,
right?
And also, like, even the fact when she goes into the bathroom and she hears Dennis Quaid talking shit, like, that's like now become like a fairy tale in our own way. Like the cool people talking shit while you're in the bathroom. That's a fairy tale at this point. Like, we're in the 20s billions, you know? Like, that's a 1990s fairy tale. That's, like, just like Grimm's, like... And she takes all these, like, kind of like tropes, like you're saying, like, be it American or whatever, be it Grimm's fairy tales. And I just love how it's, like, who's Snow White? Who's the Wicked Witch? Right. And it's all just internal the whole time.
Well, I'm glad that we got around to Dennis Quaid because... I have only ever really known him as like the good, benevolent father figure guy in most movies.
That's insane.
And that's kind of been his like claim to fame a lot of times. He's always like kind of wholesome or
like
whatever.
The most white guy ever.
He's a monster straight up in this movie.
I knew him the most when I was a kid from being the fucking bitch ass quarterback from Any Given Sunday that Steamin' Willie Beeman knocks his ass out. But one other thing I will say is the guy, I don't know if he's aware of this, but the people who are watching this movie hate him. He's a fucking MAGA fucking psycho right now, and now he's playing the most disgusting man trope, Harvey Weinstein type of thing you can imagine.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he's like, I don't know if he like goes home and thinks he's being ironic or he's like likes the character. Right. Because like the guy like... He did the Reagan biopic, which nobody cares or knows about. Right. And he's like on the MAGA thing. He's on that train. And I almost like, I would totally think that like, yeah, the director was just like got him in like the casting and was like, oh, I fucking hate this guy. Let's cast him. This guy makes the worst guy ever.
Which is smart because anytime I see an actor get out of their typecast, I'm a fan. Like Robin Williams doing it with Insomnia and 1 Hour Photo.
Right.
You know, like whenever somebody steps out of that familiar territory and plays a psychopath or a misogynist asshole or whatever, I'm like, yeah, I've seen you be the warm-hearted, kind, funny guy. Let's see what else you got, dude. Like, and he's really good at it.
Well, that's the thing is I don't think he's aware of how ironic it is.
Sure.
That we're like, well, you didn't quite make a good star quarterback, but we get that you are like the pathetic white guy.
But you're an awful Hollywood agent.
You're the pathetic white guy Hollywood producer? That makes sense.
Right, right.
Yes. You know.
Well, in that bathroom moment, there's one of many nods to David Lynch. So we've got like Stanley Kubrick immediately followed by Lynch, where Harvey's like really close up. Like we see him like almost pressed up against the camera while he's on the phone pissing in the urinal. And that's like a David Lynch thing, like getting really like
and
crazy
just like
close-ups.
the over the top, like, and can you believe this? Ha 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 ha! You know, just that kind of like overacting.
Well, we see those close-ups a lot, and it's like meant to be invasive and a great way to introduce this character by like shoving them in your face, literally.
I know he eventually is like smoking a cigarette, and they like every time they zoom on his mouth, it looks like an asshole.
Yeah.
But like the very next scene is totally a thing of that, where he's
equal
eating
caliber,
shrimp.
yeah.
And she's like there, basically getting the bad news from him. And honestly, when I rewatched this movie, that scene was like the most like, oh my God, I don't know if I can handle this. Like,
well, he ate over 4 pounds of shrimp while they rehearsed and went through that scene.
Well, that doesn't fucking surprise me. I mean, and again, there's like that post production thing, like the sound design on that is absolutely incredible.
It's disgusting. Yeah.
So I want to give a little credit. It just like, this is just my nerd brain, like kind of like hoping. But the director, I like to think she reads Batman comics, because there's this like one scene in this like super grotesque Batman comic where Joker is eating shrimp in that exact fucking style. It's called The Joker by Brian Azzarello, just so you know. But at one point in that comic book, the Joker skins a man, and he like walks onto a like strip stage, and only his head can be seen. And I mean, come on, she had shrimp skinning. I mean, it's good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we've got her. She gets hit by a car, right?
Yeah, she gets hit by the car,
and she ends up at a doctor's office where the nurse gives her this flash drive.
This is what I don't fucking get. And we're gonna, fuck it. Yeah, so what the fuck is with this substance? So, like, she meets the old dude later. And, like, is the whole point of the substance is to just to be, like, younger and doing your day job again? Like, but better and younger?
Right. I had that question, too. It's kind of weird because, like, what's the point of taking it? Because the whole time that this other version of yourself is awake and alive in the world, you're basically blacked out in a dark room. So if you're not conscious to experience this younger version of yourself and like relive your youth, so to speak, then what's the point of doing it? Because like you said, like the kid that gives her the flash drive, he's still he's a nurse at a doctor's office, and the older version of him is just like this lonely old man.
I mean, I think that's why it's called The Substance, because it's like, I know it's about like beauty and the Hollywood standard, but it is called The Substance. That's the way I related to it. I obviously interpreted it the way they wanted to, but like, yeah, you idealize this version of yourself when you're under the substance,
right?
It like, there's moments in this movie where it's so clear, where you can see that clear mind where you're like, oh my God, this is so bad for me, get rid of it. And then you see them just be like, in like almost a violent reaction to be like, no. It's very, very incredible. And so to speak to that, like, I think that like almost informs it. Like, it doesn't matter what you do with your life as long as you're not like dealing with what's happening right now.
Right. I want to talk about the substance when she finally gets it. Like, what's going on with her to make her willing to go, just like she got a random phone number, they're like the substance, and then she just goes to this part of town to find it. Like, that's, she's just looking for something, anything.
Yeah, she's looking for a substance.
Right.
She's looking for anything to take her out of the reality of the situation, which is extreme loneliness, and like, God knows what's going to happen to me in the future.
Well, out of that basket of scenes, we get into like another great nod to a horror classic, where after she gets the substance, she goes home, reads the directions, and she injects herself with this stuff. And we immediately get a Hitchcock nod, especially to Psycho, when her head hits the floor and it's like a close-up of her on the bathroom floor. That's right out of Psycho, after the woman gets stabbed in the shower and she falls down the same exact camera angle. It's almost like shot for shot.
Such a good sequence.
We go heavy into Cronenberg territory with, Sue kind of coming out of her back.
Brutal as fuck. Like, it's so brutal. What I will say is, like, before that happens is, like, they still, like, it introduces the nudity, like, pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
But it, like,
we're going to have a lot of close-ups of her ass. You get,
like, full frontal, the whole thing. But, like, it does it, like, so you, like, enter it, like, through the view of her insecurity. And I've never really, like, seen a movie do it so successfully. Then she gets the panic, like, extreme problem within your body. Right. And that's what she does so great within body horror. It's like, here's my body, here's what I'm insecure about it, and here's where it can get vicious.
Yeah. Well, the special effects team on the film categorized the different transformations that Elizabeth Sparkle goes through. So we've got the first one, we've got the birth of Sue, the next one, which we'll cover all of these as we go along, we've got the finger.
Right.
Then we've got Requiem. Then we've got Gollum. And then finally, we've got Monstro Elias. Yeah, it's a mouthful. But yeah, this is kind of the first chapter in this like grotesque thing that's about to happen to this character. And it's like, it starts out as like, you know, a Cinderella story somewhat, but
kind of,
as we go along, it gets more and more twisted.
Well, right there, it's just like, it's just this amazing thing that, I mean, this is, to me, what really spoke to me was just that like soft walking of like self-disdain of your past self and your future self and how it destroys your present self.
Yeah.
It's really incredible.
Yeah. Well, that's when the Coralie Farge uses sound design with the loading of the capsule into syringe, is, you know, bullets going into a gun, the chamber being pulled back. We see that moment right before Sue jams the syringe into Elizabeth's back.
The back.
That shit freaked me out.
Like, what I love, the little details, is that the orange goo, it gets worse and worse.
It turns black at some point.
And like, what I do love about it is like, again, like we enter like through the insecurity gaze of Demi Moore. And then the way that like when we eventually get to the music video sequence where the chicken bone pops out of her hip.
Ugh.
Like, that to me, when the chicken bone finally happens and she pulls it out of her belly button, I really understood what the director was doing, like by making us like
focus on her butt.
Focus on that. And it wasn't like even like without the sexual context.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's kind of like what each of their experience is. Like Margaret Qualley is like Elizabeth Sparkle's, like maybe her best dream, you know, like that's what she wants to be and what she wants to have happen. But on the other end of the spectrum, Elizabeth Sparkle is Sue's like nightmare. Like, I don't want to be old. I don't want that to happen to me.
Yeah, and I don't want to be lazy and like self-loathing. And yeah, and I don't want to be arrogant and like self-destructive.
Well, we get deeper into that stuff as
oh god, heartbreaking.
Sue wakes up and finds evidence that like Elizabeth has been binge eating all this junk food.
Well, she was using it as like a vengeance to her past self, like in.
We've got that really great scene when Elizabeth is watching a television interview of Sue, and she's resorted to making like all this like fancy French food.
So before that shit goes on, like she's already discovered, you know, just like the damage that the substance does to her.
Yeah.
And like one thing I wanted to say, which I'm kind of confused on. So like the first time Sue abuses it, and she wakes up with the finger, right?
Right.
So she's walking around the apartment kind of like surprised that there's like drinking, and then she's surprised that there's a little sticky with the guy's note, and then she reaches for it, and that's where she sees the finger.
Right.
And then she's also, that's when she almost calls the guy, she's like stroking his number with her finger. It's all gross. But like what I don't get, and what, after watching it and paying close attention to this detail, like, so they don't remember what it's like to be the other person.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's clear as day like that, because there is that one moment where she like recognizes the boy and also the neighbor, and she like knows the difference of how she's being treated.
I don't know.
Or is that just through the viewer?
I don't think. I think that's just an interpretation that you have. I didn't pick up on any of that. In my perspective, each of their experiences are totally exclusive to their consciousness.
Well, that would seem
Elizabeth
like
is
it's
not
worthless to do the substance.
That's my whole point of that. Like, because Elizabeth is not aware of what it's like to be Sue. She's not reaping the benefits of all this attention and all this like adoration and getting her job back or whatever. Like, she's
then what is like the point? Like, and also that leads to the old guy who was like the handsome nurse with the blue eyes and the cheekbones. Right. Like, so did that guy just take the substance to go work as a nurse assistant but be gorgeous? Again,
my thinking on that is like, you have to accept what you've got, because all the time that you put into wishing and hoping for something else, or hoping that it wasn't the way that it is, the more that you're just going to lose out the door. Because you have to accept what it is. You have to accept that, we're all
your present, or you're going to destroy your future and past self, your memory of your past self and your potential.
That's one way to look at it. But like, the more that you hope and search for and try to chase youth, but the more you just actually end up losing and missing out on.
To me, it again, it spoke to more of even not just substance, but like just a good example would be like alcoholism.
Right.
Like there's this version of yourself that's so much fun, so much younger, quote unquote. Sometimes you remember it, sometimes you have a little bit of memories, but ultimately you hate that person.
Right.
And if that person existed in full form, that person would hate you too, because you would just be constantly trying to clean up their mess. And
right. Well, we take another couple of steps deeper into the dungeon, and we get closer and closer to what I'm sure will be a harmonious and pleasant ending for both of these characters.
Then we hit the fucking, so after all that, we just watch them abuse each other in their own way, but then we hit that fucking clean 3 months later.
Yeah, we've got the new boyfriend in the bedroom with Sue, and she goes into the bathroom, and then she has to switch because shit starts to go sideways, and now Elizabeth is awake again, and she's this completely deformed thing. I think this might be the Requiem or the Gollum version of the monster.
Not quite.
I can't remember which version this is, but we've got another heavy nod towards Kubrick.
She can cruise around, yeah.
Yeah, we've got a heavy nod with Kubrick again with The Shining, where the boyfriend tries to come in the bathroom and she's holding the door closed with both of her hands, and it's this upward angle while she's yelling. There's just a straight throwback.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's Jack Nicholson in the pantry where he's talking to Wendy.
Banging on it. Yeah, he's like, huff and puff.
Yep. He tells her go check out the snowcat. You better go check it out.
Right. Oh my God, that gave me goosebumps.
It's really good. I don't take any of that as she's ripping it off. I was like, that's fucking awesome.
And it's a great moment. It's really, that's when you use it. I think maybe the carpet in the bathroom was a little much, but that was exactly when you use it.
Right.
One thing I will say is I wish if they were to Netflix this bitch, and I mean that in a bad way, where they spin it off and soak every money. I would love to see the boyfriend's spin-off where he's just
his story.
Yeah,
he's just
a
cool guy.
Ass lady, and then she runs in the bathroom, and then good Lord, you could have a lot of fun with that. That's a big moment though, because now she's the one version below, the ultimate monster version. Right. And she hits up the fucking worst customer service you've ever encountered, or best, I don't know.
I mean, they're just, they
just tell you. And that's when she's and that's when they're turning back.
What is it? Yeah, the guy on the phone is if you stop now, you cannot reverse the damage done.
Yeah,
and then he's honestly, do you want to see what else happens?
I mean, as the viewer, I was fuck it, honestly. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, at that point...
I like that she doubled down, because it was almost this game that they played with the audience in that moment where they're do you want to see what else will happen?
Yeah, and we were all no, but you gotta.
You're going to show us.
Yeah, and I mean, she doubles fucking down. And that, again, through the view of, the poor, abuser. Oh,
well,
God.
we've got this, whole period where Sue is going to get to host the television network's New Year's Eve special. So, basically they're telling you, the audience, that things are going to get more fucked up because Harvey, the network executive, is it's going to mean a lot more rehearsal days and a very intense schedule. And you're just basically telling us we're about to see her get, we're about to see Elizabeth Sparkle get really, really deformed,
and
which
she's gonna have to make the decision. One thing I noticed about that when remember when she goes up to Harvey, Dennis Quaid, and she like walks out, and they're like, "Oh, the show's over. Like, go meet him at the office." Like, the only thing that I noticed that's like similar between the two characters is their like gross insecurity. So when Demi Moore is calling the dorky guy, and she's like, "Do you want to go on a date?" He hesitates for a little bit, and you watch her face sink, and she's like, "Oh my God, what if he says no?" And right there, then when Margot Qualley walks into Dennis Quaid's office, and he's like, "What do you think's going to happen?" You watch her face sink, and he's like, "You're the best
like
New Year's Eve," and you watch it, and like, I think like, the fucked up part is the only thing that these two have in common is their insecurity.
Yeah. Well, Sue finally drains all of the fluid from Elizabeth until this black goo comes out of her back. And now she gets on the phone with the substance to try to figure out, like, what do I do now? Because she's overstayed by, like, I don't know, months at this point.
3, yeah.
The voice tells her, like, well, you got to switch to regenerate the fluid and, reset everything. But, like, of course, it's the day before the New Year's Eve special or whatever. So she switches, and there's this whole...
The customer service, when she calls that time, goes, "Yes."
Yeah. we know what's about to happen. So this is the Gollum version, and apparently this makeup took 7+ hours for Demi Moore to get into, which is crazy because like she would sit in a makeup chair for 7+ hours, and then it really only left like an hour or two for them to film the scenes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which is wild.
No, again, that's why, I don't know if old Mikey or whatever her name deserves it over, oh damn, but...
I really liked, though, like, there's a scene right around this moment where they wake up together, like they're both conscious in the same room in the same moment. And I think it's when...
You mean in the very end?
It's right after this where, like, Elizabeth is now, like...
Well, they have a showdown. I mean, the showdown is fucked.
It's fucking brutal.
Yeah, so, I mean... Yeah. So the showdown is interesting. Let's break into that. So...
They give her a Terminator fluid. They give her the Terminator fluid to, like, end it.
I will say, Margot Qualley scared the shit out of me. Like,
she did not.
When she's banging on the door, oh my God, that was terrifying.
She didn't like doing this movie. There's a couple of interviews with her where she cried often on set.
Oh, and fuck Margot Qualley. Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, you're gonna cry on set when you have like literally the most like vetted.
No, it's the content of the story, and she's like an artist and has to portray this thing happening where she's like killing this weak version of herself. I don't know. It's complicated.
I mean, I get it. I don't buy that Hollywood jelly bean for 1 second.
Well, it's true. It's honestly another thing with The Shining. There's like a behind the scenes documentary where the gentleman that played the groundskeeper, like Danny's psychic friend, he's I think Scatman Crothers was his
Scatman, the one black guy. All right, keep going.
let me make sure it was Scatman.
Is his real name Scatman, the black guy?
He's the guy who like teaches Danny about The Shining, and in the documentary he's like crying and weeping, and he's like, "This was such a special thing," and blah blah blah. And people have always like speculated, like, was he put up to performing and crying like that, or was it genuine because it was so stressful on set? Because there's all the stories about how hard Kubrick was on the actresses. But either, it doesn't matter if it's like door A or door B. It's like show business. It's a production. It's a show. So I don't know if Margaret Qualley actually did cry on set. I don't know if that's just a story.
I agree. It's just
right?
Like,
was that just a story that was told
wasn't
to hype
on
it up?
like Late Night with David Letterman telling that story. Margot Qualley was,
I don't know. But again, is it just a story? That's what I mean. Is
it's
just show
definitely...
business?
No, it's probably not a story. That's like the worst part. Scatman cried. Margot Qualley didn't.
Okay, I want to talk. We know Scatman cried.
That man was in his. He had heart.
But you know what I'm saying?
I get it.
He's an actor. He can do that on command.
No, but Margot, it just like I just don't see being like the like the like plum of the story and having the nerve to cry while there's the writer, the director, the fucking veteran actress. Like, you're the plum, the nerve to cry on set and then talk about it. Unbelievable.
Well, I want to talk about this last version of the monster.
Yeah.
Let's
get down to the showdown.
Let's push through to the final.
Well, she kicks ass, man.
Duke-a-roo.
She kicks ass, I will say that.
We've got after this last transformation, we've got Monstro Eliza Sue, which is the final incarnation of Elizabeth
Wait, but
Sparkle's
before
monster.
that, the reason she gets there, we got to talk about. She beats the shit out of Demi Moore.
Right, Sue kills Elizabeth Sparkle
with the most monster, Sparta kick.
Yeah.
Into her. What I love, it's like the Sparta kick into like the fluffy, but then she kicks her to death.
She stomps on her head. Yeah. The sound design in that scene was disgusting.
It's horrific. Yeah. And then she tries to go on with her life, even though she essentially killed herself, quote unquote. Right. And let me tell you, I will never be able to watch Teeth and Nails like they did. That one I think gets the gold medal for like, that scene to me was the worst.
I'm the same with like stuff getting shoved in ears and eyes in horror movies. I can't fuck with that.
Really?
Shit.
That doesn't bother me, but like Teeth and Nails being pulled out.
Yeah.
That's interesting psychology right there.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
You don't like stuff going in. I don't like stuff getting pulled out.
Right.
That's like gay and straight.
Well, they like...
Who's gay and straight? Who knows? But yeah, we can dive in.
Yeah, it's true. Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. Listeners, chime in.
So there's a moment right after that when her teeth are falling out where they just do that like textbook cliche misogynist male thing where she runs into Harvey in the hallway and she's lost her like top teeth. And he's like with all the executives and these men are staring at her and she's in this like prom dress.
Yeah, right.
And he goes, pretty girls smile, all girls smile.
Oh,
and it's like just fucking gross.
I know. And like for some reason, like as much as that is a trope, him saying that pissed me off more than I've ever seen that. And so like, what, so she tries to like take something, like how does that like break down to make her become Monstro Eliza Sue?
Well, she takes the substance, just like Demi Moore took it to create a better version of herself.
Oh, right.
She's falling apart, so she takes the substance to create a better version of herself, even though she's like the creation of the original thing.
Well, ironically, she did kind of make the better version of herself because she had self-acceptance.
You have a...
Not to go...
you have such a good point. Like, yeah, there's that moment when she's like in the bathroom and like that monster, number one, is straight out of Cronenberg's The Fly and Lynch's Elephant Man. And I couldn't help but be reminded of that movie Society. Like, if you ever seen, there's that weird melted orgy scene where like...
Oh my God, I know exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like.
She's this like crazy...
It's the worst version.
Well, she's this crazy mutation and she just like proceeds to get dressed like nothing's happening and she like... puts on a nightgown. She like sticks an earring into the side of her head. And she tapes a picture of Elizabeth Sparkle. Yeah. Like she like gets a rubber band and like puts it on her face.
I mean, the mask thing might be like a hark into her insecurity, but like, when she's getting dressed and ready to go out, they're even as the viewer.
Yeah.
We're there. We're like, yeah. Let's go. Like, what do we have to lose? Like, it gives me goosebumps even to say.
We've seen everything else happen.
Yeah, it's a beautiful moment of self-acceptance while watching this inner turmoil rip itself apart. Yeah. Ugh.
We've got another heavy nod again to Kubrick in 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like once she gets back into the television studio, she goes up on stage and it's her moment. And there's the 2001 Space Odyssey theme music, the dun, 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 dun. Like, that is perfect because she steps into the spotlight.
Again, this is why I love the director. I feel like that's her just basically giving a middle finger to guys like us.
So in the next moment, everybody starts like attacking her as the monster, and like suddenly she like her arm falls off and she gushes blood all over the audience,
which is insane.
21,000 gallons of fake blood were used. Apparently, I read this story that they shot this in a theater that was about to get renovated or torn down, and basically as they were doing the blood scene, they were like, I hope that we got this take because this is it. We can't we can't clean this up and then redo it. And then like tomorrow they're about to tear this place down.
I mean, that's why you can't be a first-time director and enter a moment like that.
So I really like the full circle that they do with this storyline where the monster like falls and explodes, and then it's just this like puddle of a blob, and the blob stares up into the sky and sort of imagines a time when people cheered for her, and then suddenly is cleaned up by a street sweeper. It's just like a perfect circle.
Well, but like what happened, I think right there is like, the two egos and like insecurities destroyed each other.
Well, moral of the story, be thankful for what you've got. Sometimes trying to change too much at once can cause you to lose more than you expect. Also, don't take mysterious drugs from back alley storage spaces. They are never the answer, so just say no.
Goddamn right.
Yep.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
So
if your blue eyes are too vibrant, you turn away.
You get away from those blue eyes.
If you ever watched the Great American Bake Off, you would know what I mean. That guy's blue eyes aren't to be trusted.
The British baking show.
Yeah, whatever the hell it is. But you know what I mean. But I think it's about time for us to get into a little bit more of the category section.
Yeah, so we do a little twist on Fuck, Marry, Kill, where instead we play Fight, Friend, or Spare on the show. I would fight Sue, just because she's kind of bratty and like took advantage of Elizabeth, who basically like created her, brought her into existence.
Right.
And then just like slowly ate away.
She can obviously fight too. It'd be a good fight.
It would be a great fight. I mean, I probably would lose, but
that kick she's got.
Yeah. I would friend Fred, the high school crush, because he just like seemed genuine and friendly.
Of course.
And just like he gets ditched, and like you kind of tell the whole time she's like, when he first talks to her, that she's just like, whatever.
Yeah, he texted her too.
And he texted her back and like showed up to the date. She didn't show up, and he's like, he's never like a dick over the text.
Never on him.
He's like, oh, you must be busy. You're such a star. Like he just seems like really nice and gets.
He was just happy to be there.
Yeah, exactly. And I would spare Elizabeth.
Right.
I just wish
she did not need to die like that.
Yeah, and I hoped like so much better for her. Like it sucked that like she kind of like was past her peak as a performer in her career, but it's just so, I'm like, what else could have happened for you? I was bummed for her.
Yeah, I agree with you for the most part, at least for the end. But as far as fight, like I'm kind of in a hot debate of whether to fight Dennis Quaid or the nurse assistant.
The guy who gave her the...
Yeah, Dennis Quaid is just a dumb fucking MAGA asshole, like he is in real life. But the nurse assistant, it's like, what are you even doing? Right. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're just taking it to have blue eyes, but like... actually, I'm fighting him. I'm going to beat him to death. And then I'm going to friend... God, there's not many people to friend in this bitch, huh? I mean, other than... Yeah. What's his name again?
Fred?
Yeah. Obviously, it's Fred. We're all... Fred, let's get out of this fucked up fairy tale.
Yeah.
And then Spare, it's gotta be... I mean, that death... I mean, the only thing I would change a little bit is just spare her with one gross finger.
Right.
Yeah, just call it right there.
Favorite moment of the film for me was the final monster moment when the blood spat out all over the crowd. I just was like reminded of Slayer concerts. I don't know if you know that like that's part of their thing. Like they get like blood rains down on the whole audience. I was like immediately I was like, oh, and they even have like brutal heavy metal music playing during that scene. I was like, oh, we're in a Slayer concert.
It was badass. It reminded me a lot of What's that remake of Suspiria?
Yeah.
It was
totally.
very, very Suspiria, which also, I love Suspiria, and I love that these two movies have a lot in common in the best ways, too.
So, finally...
Oh, wait, I gotta give my favorite moment.
Oh, right, so yeah.
Yeah, so I guess my favorite moment is honestly when she puts the earrings in, when she's Monstro.
Yeah, it was...
Like, when she puts that in, I was just like, whoa, this is, like, awesome.
It was definitely... It was a cherry on top of this moment where I was in the theater, I was like... How the fuck did we get here?
Exactly.
But I'm glad we're here. And then the earring moment, I was like, that is amazing.
Right.
So finally, we have our question of the day. If you took the substance and could pick an age of your life to go back to and relive, what age or like time period of your life would you do and why?
Well, like,
really,
the catch to this question is you're 80. Like, we can't be our age now, you know? We can't just, like, jump back, you know?
Well, I mean, that's a whole other type of substance. I don't know what it's like to be 80. So I guess I got to take a substance to go be 80 and then be like, wait a minute, I don't want to go back.
Well, maybe what we should be doing is thinking about the moral of the story and being present.
Get out of here. It's enough.
All right. Well, honestly, folks, that was a goddamn good time.
I loved it. Loved every minute of it. Well, I guess that about does it for us here at Bedlam Movie Nights. I really enjoyed this one. How did you feel about it, Ben?
I had a blast. The substance, actually have a deep attachment to this. I love the director more than I ever thought.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what she does next.
Oh my God, I cannot wait.
Well, folks, please stay tuned for more from the world of sci-fi, horror, and beyond. And join us next time, please. And as always, to be continued.
And keep your eyes on the skis.